They're the only two things you should be focusing on, and a good business strategy should have both. You should not always be educational, and you should not always be entertaining. There needs to be a mix.
Let people talk. Let people use their words to communicate how they feel, agree, disagree, whatever. And it's your job as a brand and as someone in marketing to be comfortable with the content you're putting out and being comfortable with the repercussions that might. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Lat Chat. In today's episode, we have none other than our own marketing manager, Nathan Lobb, who is a wealth of experience in all things marketing. This is designed to help you as a small business owner, help you understand your numbers, manage tax, and navigate the small business journey. Marketing is navigating the small business journey. So Nathan Lobb, how are you, mate?
That was very nice. That was like one breath for like 45 words.
I need to exhale and inhale. All right, we're good to go.
Do you know, I've posted more content than anyone ever. I've been doing this for 10 years. I've been posting for everyone, and I've spent very little time in front of the camera. So this is actually my first big
There you go.
introduction to
Mate,
content.
Sometimes you got to get them behind the curtain and bring them to the forefront. So I'm glad we have you here.
No worries. Someone struggled to find a guest this week, it looks like.
That would be yourself there, mate. So
Yeah.
very good. Well, it's nice for the people to get a sneak peek into our own marketing and what we do, because obviously, you know, they've seen the growth of our business. So it's nice to have some intel and insight. So we're going to start off with a bit of agree or disagree. I know you like this segment. You might have founded this segment yourself.
Made it,
yeah. So, you know what, bro, for starters, let me just stop with the agree and disagree.
Sure.
Mate, tell us a little bit about yourself. For those who don't know you, they see Latitude in social media. They see Latitude running the paid ads, doing all the things. Who's Nathan Lobb? What does he do? And, yeah, just tell us a little bit about yourself, bro.
Yeah, I think business-wise, so obviously involved in marketing. So I have a background in communication, advertising, most things digital. And that's evolved over the past 10 years, I'd say. I pretty much started it straight out of high school. Going into a uni degree where you're leaving high school, you're not really sure where you want to go. I feel like they do, maybe some schools do it better than others. But my school, I feel like, didn't give me a huge point in where I wanted to kind of grow and where I wanted to build a career. So I thought, well, business is a good start, just like a basic business degree can kind of take you anywhere. Chose to do that. And then when I'm in school, I realized, or when I'm in uni rather, well, let's look at the office dynamics and who has the most fun and who has the best job. So I looked at it and I'm like, well, lawyers and the legal team, what a nightmare. That's really difficult. I probably couldn't get into it if I tried, and a lot of headaches. HR, you deal with everyone's nightmares. It's hard to make friends. So I'm going through all accountants, your nerds. So going through everything. And I'm like, well, then there's the marketing team. What do they get to do? Well, they get to be involved with campaigns and talk to TV and radio, and they get to be creative, and they get to have lunch. Like, it's just the funnest one. And then when I'm looking at how much everyone gets paid and everything, I'm like, I think marketing's the secret no one's talking about.
That's the best.
So inevitably, I moved my degree to a communication degree, and now, 10 years later, I'm marketing.
Is it what you imagined? Are you still having fun? Do you still think 10 years later, do you still think is the best ROI if you're looking at the industry?
I think it is. Yeah. So I did when in high school, I was doing hospitality, and you have to do placements. So I worked at a restaurant in the city for a week or two, and I was just cutting vegetables, doing all the shit jobs.
Yeah.
And something I realized is every single day I came and I did the exact same thing. And so did the actual proper chefs. They come in and they defrost this and they breadcrumb this and they make this sauce. And I'm like, this is mind-numbing. And marketing is so diverse because since it's different campaigns, different mediums, different people, different content, it's like it literally is different all the time. I can't come in and have the same week I did 6 months ago because it's just not the same thing. Elements might be the same, but I think it's probably one of the most diverse fields, at least in a basic office setup.
No, I completely agree with that. And so obviously, as some people may know, some people may not, on Monday morning, we do a huddle every week. And your job in that huddle is to tell everyone what you're working on over the next 5 days, just to see if you need any help with anything, if your priorities are correct, and keep the business moving forward. And you are known to say absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's good. It's a secret.
So you could say whatever, and then you've got Tufik standing there next to you, the actual technical accounting freak who has no idea what you do. So it very much varies every day. There's so many moving parts and moving pieces, and mate, it's part of the game, I think. So
yeah. Well, I've worked with multiple businesses, and like full-time roles, part-time roles, casuals, all these different things. And every time it's almost like people hire a marketing person and just say like, go.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like you don't know what to ask them.
Yeah.
And people might have a very common concept of like, you're going to post on Facebook and you're going to like print us flyers because we put out flyers. But if you want to really get a lot more benefits and you're looking into like paid ads, SEO, building campaigns, PR, all these different aspects, you won't know to do that, which is the benefit of hiring someone that's experienced. So it's almost like when I say, oh, I'm coming in, I'm kind of doing my work, it's almost like I don't think anyone could tell me this week you should be doing this. They could, but would it be as productive as what I would probably recommend? Maybe not.
Honestly, that's probably the whole reason we actually started hiring a marketing coordinator, is that we had a base understanding of a marketing plan that we sort of developed, but then we had no idea what to do about it. For anyone listening, and this is, I'm going to give Latitude Accountants perspective here. Why did you take the job with Latitude Accountants? Like, what was different when you came over and saw what we were trying to do in the marketing space?
I think it's when you look at an accounting firm, it's not the most attractive thing. So my first interaction with Latitude, without knowing what the business is I saw the website I found it on. Hey, we're hiring. It's an accounting firm. It's in Olympic Park. It's a little bit further travel for me. It's not the biggest firm at the time. It was probably under 30 people, something like that. And it's accounting, and accounting's very boring. I had worked in different kind of firms in different aspects before, so it was something that I'm like, okay, it's worth the conversation. What the biggest factor for me is, and this is something that I think a lot of people don't pick up on when choosing jobs, is your work culture. So you could have a great paying job at a great place and great benefits, that's all great. But if you travel to work on a Monday morning and you absolutely hate it, it like destroys your life. You can feel like outside the workplace, you can feel it in your relationships, you'll feel yourself thinking about things negatively, like that you shouldn't be at weird times. So I think people don't press on that as much. So when I met the team here, and it was very friendly and it was almost casual to a point that I'm like, oh, this is a bit bizarre. And everyone's very honest and there's not kind of egos in the room. It attracted me a lot. Because I've worked a job I hated. I'm sure you've worked a job you've hated.
Never.
And
no.
you've never worked a job you've hated.
Of course I have, yeah.
It's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
You'd rather earn 20, 30, 40, 50 grand less, dependent, and work a job that you're like, oh, I like going to work. It's fun. I like these people. I like what I do. I feel like it gives me purpose.
Yeah, 100%. So Tufi calls that Sunday night feeling the Monday-itis. If you're gut-wrenching that Sunday night, you've had a big weekend and you're like, oh my God, I have to survive another 5 days to go into work and get to the weekend again, you might be in the wrong role. So appreciate that insight there, Lob. Agree or disagree? Let's jump in. So every new business needs to be online. Agree or disagree?
I hope we're going to disagree on this because I agree.
I agree completely.
Oh, I thought you'd say no.
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm a big I'll tell you the story and then I'm happy to obviously get your thoughts. But so the backstory is I left Latitude Accountants in 2019, started my own firm, Advisory Corp. And I had never started a business before. I'd advised on businesses, but I'd never started my own. And the first thing I did was think, okay, crap, I need to get clients. And then I grew up in the generation of we'd seen Facebook come out, we'd seen Instagram come out, we'd seen social media come out. So I thought, what's the best way at scale to grab as much attention and show people, hey, I'm starting an accounting firm. You need to be a part of this. It was about posting social media, doing as many online webinars. It was COVID at the time, and we were doing like cash flow boost webinars and all that sort of thing. And I grew the ledger pretty quick, and that's honestly part of why I came back to Latitude Accountants to help support that growth. So I just saw how pivotal it was for in my own personal experience that, bro, you could be the best barber, the best accountant, the best lawyer, but if you're the best kept secret, no one's going to hear about you. They're my thoughts, but you tell me from your marketing lens.
Yeah, you could almost, similar to what you said then, you could almost replace online with just like visibility. Every business needs visibility.
Yeah.
Visibility pretty much only exists online to an extent. Oh, actually, I take that back. It only exists online. Because if you did anything, it's going to be online. Aside from potentially like a billboard, any kind of media or any kind of advertising you're going to do, in one way or another, it's going to be based on someone's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Google, whatever. It's going to exist. I think, does every new business need it? Yes. Even older business that maybe don't have that, they need to build that presence because it's just about visibility. If no one can find you, if no one can see you, if no one can review you, inevitably your lead funnel is just going to run out. You might know a lot of people in your industry, but the longer the business goes, if those people move, if they pass away, if they're no longer good contacts, you'll just have no one else. And you'll have no social proof. You'll have no, is this company good? Is they reliable? If you don't have reviews, if you don't have a presence, no one can tell that. And then as the new age is coming up, and me and you are both new age because both young men like ourselves.
No grey hairs.
No grey hair, brother. Yeah. Not a grey hair.
Look at that full head of hair, Nathan Lobb.
Get out of it. So I think that we are what the future is, and we are digital people. I know everywhere I go, I look at their reviews, I look at everything about them, and the bigger the cost point and the bigger the decision, the more research I'll do. You're probably the same. So if you're a business that's selling a high ticket item, that's even more important because people are going to research it. And if I can't find anything about you, I'm not going to trust you.
100%. There's really good insight you just said, and it's everyone's online, everyone's searching online and whatnot. Is that you have to be online because that's where the eyeballs are and that's where the attention is. And I'll give you a contrasting example. Your thoughts on radio, print, traditional media, right? Obviously, that's not online. What are your thoughts around? Okay, we won't go online, but we'll do print or radio or whatever. What are your? Because I know you have some.
I have very strong feelings.
Yeah.
So I've done everything. So I've worked with radios, billboards. I've worked with kind of everything traditional, buses, whatever.
Yeah.
I think it is a dying medium, and they are trying to hold on. This is not a Latitude. This is Nathan's point of view. I think you're trying to hold on to your ad spend because like 30 years ago, if you're on Channel 10, wowee. If you're in the Sunday Morning Herald. Big news. Yeah. If I put in 100 people now and said, hey, who's read the newspaper this morning? I'd be amazed if 10 people had. And I could say that about everything. There's so much content everywhere. And if you're solely relying on these old methods, you're just going to you're out the door. Yeah. It's almost like, I still use a typewriter. Okay, yes, a typewriter still works, but it's not nearly as effective. So that's where I'd put those.
Yeah, and if I were to push back on you, so I talk to so many business owners every single day, and their common response is, well, this is really a word of mouth business. We're based on referrals, and they almost take pride in we've never advertised, right? I remember calling Tufik Haddad in 2018, 19, and I said, Tufik, I've started this thing, bro. I don't know how to get clients. What should I do? I said, how much have you spent on marketing in the past from 2011 to 2018? Tufik's response to me is probably a little bit off because he's not good with the details too. In that time period, he said 0. And I was freaking out because I was spending so much into Meta ads and Google ads and just moving the needle on all this online presence. And so what would you say to a business that is purely referral based and that doesn't feel like they have to be online? Would you push back against that?
I think it depends on your goals. If your goals are, I do not want to grow from where I currently am, and if anything, I'm happy if it slightly drops, I guess that's fine. I couldn't imagine someone that's a proper entrepreneur or business owner have that mindset. I'm thinking of, if you're the local bakery and you're like, people come, they buy bread, we're next to Woolworths, we get a lot of foot traffic. Do you need to be on Facebook ads, pumping Facebook ads for your bakery? No, you probably don't.
Yeah.
Realistically, you'll probably just stay where you're at. If anything, it'll probably drop off because Woolworths will improve their bakery and in 10 years you might just not exist. I think that's pretty much the same for any kind of industry that has that concept. But the difference is if you are that bakery and you're like, we do want a lot of people to come here, let's create something that's really visual. We do a Nutella, mud cake, pie, loaf bread, and we only do 5 of them a day and you have to be in first thing in the morning to get them. And we film content on that. All of a sudden, I think you're going to have people rock up when your doors open because they're like, we saw your Nutella bread, pie, pancakes.
Dubai viral.
It's also attractive. Yeah. And I think that's also a bit of fun because it's like, why not have fun with everything? Why not create content? Why not spend money? If you have the money, there's a conversation to, we can't afford that. But if you're more of a stingy business owner who's just saying, I don't want to put marketing spend on it, I don't see the value, I would argue, well, you should probably hold on to that money because soon you won't have a lot of it because your business will die out.
100%. It's a great point that you can just blow up very quickly on one trending big thing. Patrick Bet-David talks about in one of his books, in Your Next 5 Moves, where he talks about the David and Goliath analogy nowadays. Is the Goliath is the one with the big media spend dollars and the big marketing budget, but the David that can come along is some little player who has one viral Instagram post, TikTok post, and just keeps producing consistent content and will actually sometimes outperform the Goliath, even though they have the biggest budgets, because so many people often want to see that personal brand, that smaller entrepreneur's journey on the way through. There's something so attractive about that a big corporate entity can't really convey as much as a small player will do. Have you seen that change the industry? Is being online, has it democratized the way people can compete in the marketplace?
People are more aware of it. Like if you're going back to like Mad Men style 1940s, you know, there is only one competitor, and it is the television. It is the radio. It's almost like there's only one voice for the people. So people do get manipulated by what's out there. But now there's so many voices, so many independent people, so many independent businesses that there definitely has been that shift where people don't like polished professional ads. Someone's much more interested in someone selfie style talking about what they do, opposed to let's spend 10K on an ad and let's film all this really professionally. And you're right, the big businesses now are copying that. And like, if you look at the industry leaders for this, you can even look at, you know, everyone watches the Super Bowl, but part of the Super Bowl is the ads. That's the only part I care about. I don't care about football. I'm like, what would someone spend 30 seconds and spend, you know, whatever it is, $2 million on? Yeah. All right, what are you going to say in that 30 seconds? Yeah. That's so interesting to me. Sometimes, yes, they are the professionals, they get the celebrities. Those are fun. But sometimes they do the complete opposite. And you're like, oh, wow. Like, and those were the ones that stand out. And the next day, those are the ones that people are talking about. Not the M&M ad that, whatever, it probably cost them $40,000 to make.
Yeah. The majority of university degrees are a waste of time. Agree or disagree, Nathan?
I agree.
I also actually agree.
I think majority are. I come from, and this is why it's a great point for me. So my degree isn't necessary to do my job, where some degrees are. If you're a lawyer, yes. If you're an accountant, to some degree, yes. If you're a doctor, yes. All these things need it. Things like arts, business, communication, you don't need it. So in my experience, to find jobs, they normally say, oh, we recommend you have a bachelor's. They probably won't even talk to you without a bachelor's or some degree of that level. But when it gets you in the room, it's almost like just like a little ID card. And it gets you in the room, then you have the conversation. I've worked at several jobs. No one's ever asked to see my bachelor's. Latitude Accountants has never asked to see my degree.
I don't even remember looking at it on your resume.
For all argument's sake, I do not have a degree and I lied, and it's very easy.
We should have requested it.
I don't even think that's a crime. Is it?
I don't know.
Is it fraud? I don't know. Like, is it a waste of time? I think it is a waste of time to a degree. Now, I do have the caveat, it depends what you consider a waste of time. So in my experience, what I learned, not very useful, but it was good networking opportunity for me. I met friends that I later did things with, and I, opened businesses with, and we're still friends to this day. And I wouldn't have met them through uni. And I think it's a good amount of time because it gives you a few years to not go maybe to full-time work yet. So from high school to full-time work, you might have 2 to 5 years of, say, studying. That's really useful because you might choose where you're going to go. Where if you didn't have that, if it was like choose your final job forever right now out of high school, that's more daunting for sure.
Absolutely. Look, I think especially in today's age, universities used to be institutions where you could get information that was gate-kept and you couldn't get this information elsewhere. And so it was prestigious to go to one of these big universities with these big degrees because you had information that no one else had. But what have we seen in the last, probably technological revolution with this AI and all this sort of stuff is that information is unlimited and is everywhere. So if you're going to get a new piece of information, you could probably find it using ChatGPT, is the honest truth. And I know you're a very fond user of ChatGPT, Nathan Lobb.
I'm also I'm the only person in this room who has a Harvard education. And that's actually a factual statement.
That is the best. Yeah.
Because
as per your LinkedIn, I haven't verified it, but your LinkedIn says it. So
not many people know. Harvard actually offer free educational courses is a stretch. Free educational things that you can do. And that you can get, you get like completion certificates that I found online. So for the fun of it, I got several of these Harvard educations.
How long did it take you?
I don't want to talk about how long it took me. And I don't want to talk about ChatGPT. Because I don't want Harvard to rip away my certificate.
That you worked so hard for.
I went so hard for.
Yeah.
I did one on the history of humans being able to predict the future. That's because you're very limited to what ones are free. So just for the laugh of it, I will do that one.
That is the best.
So if you ever need to know about that, let me know.
Oh, mate, let me tell you, you might be doing a degree for me by the end of next week. That's good stuff. Look, our university degree is a waste of time. Like I said, There's information. It's readily available. I think obviously sometimes you need the ticket to play the game. So if you're in accounting, you need the bachelor's to get your CA and to get your tax agent or whatever and do the thing. But do they actually provide a ton of value? I always say, just go do the thing. So if you're in marketing, go have a crack at working in a marketing agency before you commit to 4 years and 40 grand for a marketing degree. If you want to be in accounting, go do a cadetship before you commit to 4 years and 40 grand of accounting course fees trying to do it. Because you'd be shocked the amount of times I see when I'm doing people's tax returns and they've got this HEX debt and then their industry occupation code is something completely different to even having that HEX debt to start off with. So there's some thoughts on that. Agree or disagree? Marketing is easy. You stitched up. Have you set up these questions? This is the best. Marketing is easy.
Agree.
I'm going to go disagree.
Oh,
Nathan
great.
Lobb
Let's
goes
have
with
a fight
agree. This
about it.
is a hot take.
Marketing is easy.
All right. Why do we pay you, champ?
Marketing is too easy.
Yeah.
Because someone needs to do it. But
Yeah.
here's the secret sauce of it.
Yeah.
I can never, ever accidentally do your job correctly. I could never be an accountant and completely fill out all these forms and make sure I did everything and, spotless.
Yeah.
That's like not possible.
Yeah.
Could you accidentally get millions of people to look at your product and sell it and it's almost like you fell into it? You can accidentally do marketing.
It's true.
Is it perfect? Maybe not. Is it full force? Maybe not. But if something can be done completely by accident perfectly, I would argue it's easy. I can't accidentally join the NBA and be the best on the team. It's literally not possible. So by that logic, I think marketing is easy. There's so many free resources. You can be creative. You can do whatever you want. Almost like online now, there's such like a meme culture. You could yell at your phone about how this is fruits and these are the cheapest fruits and $10 for these lemons, and everyone might find it hilarious. And you've effectively done proper marketing because you're making content that reaches people and you're, positioning yourself as a leader in the industry. That's easy.
Look, I'm going to push back a little bit. I love I'm sure you know this. I love marketing. If I was going to say, if I wasn't an accountant, I'd be in marketing, sales, something on that front end of the business. And what I love so much about marketing is the layers and the depth to producing a good piece of content or to hacking the hook and getting attention and shifting that traffic to a landing page and like all that stuff, the brand part of it, that's so attractive to me. So I just think there's so many layers of marketing and it's easy. Like, yes, can you fluke it? Be really super engaging, be a great speaker, be very attractive and get online and just put up a post and go gangbusters? Absolutely you can. Does it mean it's easy? It's easy for some people because they're naturally just really good at creating content. They're naturally engaging. They're just born for some reason with the talent, but not everyone's like that. That's like maybe 20% of the population would find they can accidentally do marketing and it will work. And we all know those creative influencers online who just for whatever reason are super engaging. But for 80% of people, marketing is really difficult. Getting on camera, really difficult. Building a story brand, very difficult because it's a creative field. I could survey in our office, I reckon 80% of people would hate doing marketing, would think it's the hardest thing on the planet, would never, and be really competent accountants who really technical and really high IQ, bloody nerdy like accounting stuff that would find marketing the scariest, most difficult thing in the business. Case in point, Tufik Haddad, I reckon if you ask him this question, is marketing easy? He would say, no, it's not. I would have no idea what to do, even though he's generally a pretty smart dude. So that's probably my pushback on
It's a good point.
Yeah,
it's a good point.
That's they're my thoughts. All right, you should never delete negative comments on social media posts. Never delete them.
I know my answer. I just want to see what you're going to say first.
I'm going to go with disagree.
I disagree as well.
Do you? Why?
Yeah. I think there are lines.
Sorry. I'm actually going to go with
Agree.
Yes.
You're saying you should never. It's a bit of a double negative. Here's my stance.
Yeah.
I think, yes, there are times and places to delete comments on social media.
Give me an example.
Only if it's coming from a place of hatred, not disagreement. So if someone is directly attacking the person in the video and they're a larger person and they're saying that's a fat person, this is a dumb person, all these things, and it's directly negative, I think there could be a stance to get rid of it because that's at a certain point, is it like just kind of hate speech, it's negativity, it's no good. But if someone comments, I super disagree with you, you're wrong, I think that's fine. Because you're disagreeing with a person. There's nothing hatred about that.
So where's the line though is the problem?
So I once posted something for a previous company and it received a wave of negativity. It was about a very sensitive subject.
Yeah.
It was to do with people getting divorced and how fathers are represented in court. So what I saw was a wave of people that have had negative experience in court, specifically fathers with children and with divorce, and telling us that we're incorrect.
Wow.
And attacking us privately. And it inevitably got to a stage where it's like, this is too much hate.
Did you take down the post or just the comments?
I stopped the comments entirely. I turned off comments.
But you left the post on?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So this is the only time, keeping in mind, I've literally posted thousands and thousands of things for every business you could think of.
Yeah.
Literally every business. This is the only time I've ever turned off comments because it got aroundingly negative.
Wow.
You could make the argument that doesn't that go against the point? People are disagreeing with you, maybe, potentially. But it got to a point where it was just so overly negative. Yeah. In my professional opinion, I'm like, this is no good.
There you go. I'm going to change. I'm flip flopping on this so much. I'm going to go with this. Let me say I'm in the position. I'm a free speech massive advocate, and I would say let people talk, let people use their words to communicate how they feel, agree, disagree, whatever. And it's your job as a brand and as someone in marketing to be comfortable with the content you're putting out and being comfortable with the repercussions that might, that you might cop as a brand because of a post you've put out or whatever. But what I will say is, let people talk. If it incites violence, if it's inciting crime or something like that, there are obvious red lines, I would say. If it's hate speech, it will define hate speech.
For example, we have a lot of Middle Eastern guys in our firm, so a lot of Lebanese backgrounds that we get a lot of racist comments based off Lebanese. Yeah. We generally keep them up.
I wouldn't care, yeah.
But that is heavily based off who it's affecting.
Yeah.
If someone here said, hey, when I see that stuff, it really negatively affects me, I would then remove all of them because that we don't stand. Yeah. But there's almost like a weird culture where, especially Lebanese people, they can laugh at themselves. Yeah. So it's like everyone laughs, everyone gets it. Like it's not overly negative. And what I've seen is we had one where, we were presenting and we're accountants, they were Lebanese, and someone said, oh, you're like second brain, you're like not developed people. It was like just straight racism.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. And before I even had the chance to delete it or comment it or react, or not like I would, everyone starts telling this person that they're in the wrong and that they're a piece of garbage because it is a public platform. So you've said something super racist. It's not only as me as the poster to defend our claim. All you see everyone flock on this person and be like, you are a loser.
Yeah. Look, sometimes there's honestly incentive to leave it up there. If you're going to go online and put a racist comment out behind your little keyboard to people you've never met from a bar of soap, you got no idea. Bro, we have the funniest part of this is a lot of us came up in Western Sydney with not much going on and sort of, had to establish something for ourselves. The amount of comments you see of, oh, they must have grown up with a silver spoon in their mouth. It's just so funny. And this is, you know what, Lob, I see as an accountant, bro, I see people's books and then I see the way they present themselves online and I see it go heaps of different ways. And so just the reality is so far detached from sometimes the comments on your post that you've put up or something that if you're going to go online and if you're going to have a brand that's out there doing things, you just have to embrace the fact you're going to come across racists. You're going to come across people who don't know you from a bar of soap and want to personally attack you in your comment section. I think there is an onus to have some thicker skin. I think it's a good thing to have those people expose themselves on the posts and it's embarrassing and that's something that they have to be held accountable for themselves. Imagine you go to a job interview and I do a quick search of your name and I see you on comments of someone's post being so racist and this and that. You're going to have to attest for that yourself.
Yeah.
So I think it sort of weeds itself out. Sometimes sunlight just exposes the crap. But I don't know. It can go either way as you've obviously said. Any other thoughts on that before we go?
No, that's probably it.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, I would rather be a business owner than a worker. Agree or disagree?
Disagree. I champion being
I'm
a
going to
worker.
go with agree. I know you do. I'd love to hear it, Lob. I'm so happy to have you on this podcast. Tell me.
Being a worker is the best thing you can do. There's a reason, like, the whole society is built around potentially a 9 to 5, but more than that, just being a worker under someone. Everyone wants to be the business owner and the entrepreneur, and that's great. You look over the negatives of that. A lot of it is stress. If you're a worker, your stress limit is way lower than someone with a business owner. If I mess up my job, someone's upset with me. If the business owner messes up their job, they might be liable for these big money, big claims, lawsuits, injuries, all these negative things. That can destroy your life. If you're a worker and you make a mistake at work, it's much less likely that your mistake can ruin your life. Obviously, super dependent. So I think the fact that people don't champion this more is crazy. You can have a stable income. You have the ability to move and change. It's very flexible. I could live in another state, another country, because you just leave your job, you go to another one. And also, I feel like relationships can even be better. As a worker, I know that everyone here is my friend because there's no reason not to be. As a business owner, maybe people aren't honest with me. Maybe people are lying to me. Maybe they're not my friends. Maybe there's other motives there. All those reasons just mean it's way easier and nicer to be a worker than it is to be a business owner.
I can definitely see the argument for it, and I don't think everyone is built to do either. I think there are business owners who aren't built to be employees. I think there are employees who aren't built to be business owners. And my thoughts would be, I know you're a big advocate for the worker, and I love that. You have to be. Like, if you're an employee, your job is to be an advocate for being an employee, because if you don't, well, why don't you go out and start a new business anyway, right? But what I will say is, a lot of people paint this glorified life of the business owner, that it's this, I'll just wake up whenever I want, I'll roll out of bed, I'll just go to my own office, my staff are doing my work, I might go out and sail a yacht for a day and come back and whatever. But as you said, the stress, the anxiety, the relationships, if I were to give you a day in the life of a business owner, 99% of it, 99.99% of it is lonely. You got no one to turn to. Because you're ultimately responsible for this organization, and you're responsible for the downfall and uprise of this thing. It's hard to form relationships because they're your staff, but you're trying to build a business with them, and you're trying to navigate that relationship journey. Your family never see you because you're out working in the business all the time. The business is all you can think about. It consumes your personal life. Every minute of every waking day is you thinking about the business. No annual leave, no sick leave, no holidays, no nothing. You and this business, and it's ride or die. And 80% of people, the business dies. 80% of people, after all that stress, the business dies. Only 20% make it and survive and grow a business. So that's 99.99% of what a business is. The tip of the iceberg is that 20% chance that this thing that you have gone out and risked your whole life for may actually work. And so that's what the true reality of business is. It's not what you see on Instagram, where it looks like 100% of the people have worked this whole business thing out.
If starting a business was a roulette table,
yeah,
how many numbers would you say are the
20%.
businesses that make it?
20%.
20%.
Yeah, I'm of the Pareto principle.
It's a big bet.
Yeah, I'm of the Pareto principle rule. Only, like, it's an 80-20. I don't know if you've heard this 80-20 rule, but in an organization, 20% of people do 80% of the work. 20% of the football team accounts for 80% of the result. 20% of the 80% of the wealth is taken up by 20% of the people. That's just Jordan Peterson talks about this. It's just some phenomenon you see everywhere in life. And so if I were to give you I think the success, and that's facts, in 10 years' time, 20% of business owners survive, 80% don't. Some of business is honestly just surviving and being in that 20%. So it's a 20% chance. But I will say, and I'll wrap up with this, I will say we need to encourage it more. So it sounds like a low percentage, and it is, but we still need 20% of people to survive so that we can have an economy that 80% of people have jobs. So if you're not incentivizing business owners to go out and do something and achieve something, then you're going to cut off 80% of the production of your country. So is it difficult? Yes. Do you still need people to do it? Yes, you do. And sometimes it's better to be naive and on doing it. So any other thoughts around that?
No, that's a good way to wrap it up. I think the business owner it's much more selfless to be a business owner.
Yeah.
It's much more selfish to be an employee, and I'm a selfish person. I am a selfish guy.
I'm glad.
What's
I'm
best for
glad.
me?
We got there. We got there in the end. Very good. Thank you, Nathan. At least, bro, you know what I like about you? You're very honest.
Yeah, you got to be.
You really, yeah, 100%. Do you think honesty is the best policy, Nathan Lobb?
I think it is
Yeah.
because then you have nothing to hide.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, very good. All right. By 2030, I think we were thinking the same thing, but anyway.
Yeah.
So by 2030, how well you use AI in your job will actually be more important than the skills of the job itself. I actually agree completely, but tell me why you think so.
I'm going to tell you right now, and
I'd
100%
love
know
to.
the answer.
Yeah.
This is why.
Yeah.
How long has accounting been a career?
Since the dawn of time.
It's one of the oldest professions, right? So if you look back at them, their accounting to your accounting, much difference, obviously.
Yes.
The biggest difference, I would probably argue, is you use a computer, right? Yours is more digital. Yours is more of a process. It's more laid out. I don't know how they did it. They run around in rags collecting gold. Yeah, I don't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
And by the standards of an accounting by their degree, maybe you're not the best accountant. But you've adapted with technology, as has everyone and has for all these different industries. And now it's how good is Jacob at using a computer? That is literally your job.
Yep.
Could you do your job with a pencil and paper? Maybe. I imagine it's much harder. I think in the next 30 years, this is going to be an even concept that explodes more, where it's how good are you at using AI? How good are you using these different tools to automate things and to create things and to think of ideas that people aren't thinking of? That's what almost a lot of, I don't want to say almost every, but I think a lot of careers are going to move that place. Where if you don't catch up, you'll just fall off and you'll be behind the pack. So I think that's what I mean when I say I agree you need to be able to how to use these new tools such as AI and implement them to do your work.
I completely agree with everything you just said. There's actually phenomenal points in there. The prime example you used is the dude using the pen and paper versus the dude typing, for example. You're just going to be so much more effective using the technology than you are not using the technology. And so you will just be outcompeted by people who will be able to use the technology effectively. So I couldn't disagree with anything you've said. There's nothing I need to add there. You've nailed it.
And you were opposite to me? You would disagree?
No, I agreed with you.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, did I just smoke him?
No. Oh, well, I just gave up my position.
Yeah, I thought you were like, that was such a good point.
Live on air. I've turned my. I'm open to changing my mind.
I was proud of that.
Yeah. Change my mind, and then I've just very good. All right, that's great. You know what? Yes, Lob. Well, my thing was
thank you.
Good stuff. Thanks for doing that. Let's go to some questions that I've got for you here, Lob, that I've prepared for you, Nathan Lobb.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Nathan Lobb. A business owner is listening. What is the first thing they should do to get leads?
Okay, I think if you asked this question 20 years ago, they would say cold leads, knock on doors, some Wolf of Wall Street style, knock on 50 doors, 2 people answer, which was great 30 years ago, but it's time to get along with the changes. I think the first thing you should do to create leads is you should create a digital presence to some extent. You should value the people that you already have. If you have reviews and you have customers already, fantastic. You have referral systems in place. So I think you should look into tapping into that. If you have a happy customer, they should be giving you a review. You should say, is there anyone else that you know that we can work with? Is there promotions that you can offer for a referral system? Hey, if you bring me 10 people, I'll give you X. Or if you bring me some of your friends, 25% off for them. So I think that's what you should do to get leads. Under the assumption you're brand new, you've never worked with anyone, there are a lot of really cool organizations out there that are like business communities. So there's different kind of chambers in your local area. There's online communities. There's business posting platforms. There's Reddit. There's Facebook. There's Instagram. So even just getting out there in those rooms, you might meet people. And maybe you'll meet someone that you will actually, they will sell their business to you in some circumstance and will help you grow. So I think that's the first thing you can do is just kind of get out there.
What's the fastest? So everyone wants to know, especially I got a lot of clients who I'm trying this marketing thing, but it's just not working. Heaps of people ask me, you're doing all this social media content. Does it actually work? Because they've tried 5 posts. I know they've probably tried 5 posts. Nothing's come through and they've just quit or something. What's the fastest or what's a realistic time frame I should expect to see results and leads come through?
I think that if we're talking you're talking about speed. So let's take money out of the equation.
Sure.
Because you're not saying the cheapest, you're saying the fastest.
Yes.
If you had a bank of money and you're like, I'm ready for this, I think most effectively is Google Ads. It is the best platform for your keyword will link to your page, will link to a conversion. It's like simple maths and it can be tracked the whole way. opposed to these older systems where you pay to go on the radio. Oh, geez, I hope people come. That's where that ends. This is like a full tracking system where you can follow through. You can see where they went on your website, where they spent time. Did they read it? Did they click away? Did they try to, do anything? And it's something that you can just try and throw more money at, essentially. So if you needed leads tomorrow and you had this big bank of money sitting there, my biggest vote would go pump it into Google Ads, ideally get someone that knows how to use the system to do it, and you will essentially see calls that day.
Yeah.
I'm like confident in that.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so if you had money, Google Ads. If you don't have money, do the posts.
If you don't have money, I'd argue you have time.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have money and you don't have leads, you must have time.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything. So I think the posts are a good one. And like I said, like the business communities, get out there, take a photo with people, connect on LinkedIn. All those things are free services. You can create things. You could create a TikTok account saying, hey guys, I'm filming my business journey. I sell oranges. This is Nathan's Orange Shop and you're going to watch me hit 1 million people. And if you just filmed a video a day, you're going to create some kind of following that's like, oh, I want to see this orange guy does anything.
That's great. That's really, really, really high quality advice. Bro, the way I thought about this was I thought about the marketing funnel when I first started, and I thought about 3% of people, I'm sure you know the marketing funnel, 3% of people are actively looking at any given moment for that service you're providing. 97% of the people are not. Some are problem aware, some are not problem aware, off you go. And so I always used to think, I had no money when I first started, and I always thought, okay, what are the people doing that have the money and they're probably doing the Google ads and whatnot. So how do I get in front of that customer before they are there searching for the service provider? And so I used to scrape data and do the cold calls. And I know you hate that method.
It's no good.
And it sounds like wasting some time. But I picked up a few clients that I still have today, cold calling, by the way. And the only reason I did it was I had no money. I had plenty of time, like you said. And so I had time to burn on the calls, and it was giving me some thicker skin anyway. And I just thought I just need to get in front of them before my competition got in front of them. So before they could search, I just had to hope and pray that there's 3% of people. So if I make 100 calls, 3% of those people might be ready to go. And then if they are ready to go, then it's my job to convince them on that discovery call that, yeah, I know what I'm doing, whatever. So I think doing that, focusing your activity on that 3% of people who are ready to go is what that Google ad is sort of doing as well. Would you agree with that?
I think so. Like the phone calls still work to an extent. The hit rate's just really low.
Super low.
If you're selling lawn mowing services, you better hope that person has an overgrown lawn, they haven't got around to it, they don't have a lawn guy. Like that's 1 in maybe 50 people in that exact scenario. It's a lot about timing. It's a lot about luck. But it's also when you get shot down on the phone, which you probably did 1 million times. I used to work as a telemarketer, so I actually got shot on the phone 1 million times. Yeah. It's like it's like soul destroying. It's like every time you answer a phone call, someone's like, oh, yeah, okay, let's do it again. Yeah. It's not good. It's not a fun activity. No. But I guess if you're desperate, why not?
Yeah, 100%. And it's not scalable.
No.
So you can't scale around that. All right, very good. What is one AI tool that you consider a non-negotiable in your job? I have a feeling I know what you're going to say here.
Look. I've been on ChatGPT.
What? I'm shocked.
I've been using it professionally for years.
You're an early adopter, bro.
I was a very early adopter, years and years before. I was at the stage where I typed in a story and I said, write me a story about Nathan and write me a story about Nathan and Ben and we're going to the shops. It wrote me a story. I was amazed. Yeah. Right? That's a very basic concept now because everyone knows how AI works. This is so early. I'm like, it wrote the story about me. This is insane how to do it. I'm quick to it. Yeah. Look, I think it is obviously the best, and that's why everyone's on top of it. And the question is it non-negotiable? It's 100% non-negotiable. I experiment with multiple, so I also use Gemini now, which is Google's one. Yeah. And they're starting to catch up a lot. Wow. Their video game's much better. Their photos are much better. Even the logic. I'll put something into ChatGPT, it'll get it wrong. I'll put it into Gemini. Gemini fixes it. Wow. Or if I'm doing really complex coding, I put it into Gemini. It does way better.
Really?
Yeah. So
hot take.
And I've been watching this kind of grow. So I'm like, Gemini's not as good. ChatGPT is better. Google being one of the biggest tech companies at least, they're starting to catch up because they're putting money into it. Yeah. So watch this space. But I think one of those two is definitely non-negotiable.
Yeah, that's excellent. Bro, you know what's crazy? You know how I know it's a non-negotiable? Can you remember a world without ChatGPT?
I'll do you one better. Sometimes it crashes,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh,
I have to do some work.
the power might as well be out in the building because it's a rainy day. Go home.
That's the best.
It's no good.
That is great. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how fast we adopted as well. I seen a graph from Xerocon for the rate of adoption of certain tech, and obviously just over time, you just for some reason the middle classes or all classes adopting technology far faster than we used to. It took ages for the middle person to buy a colour TV, 50 years or whatever. Then, whatever, internet and then iPhones, for example. And just the rate of the speed of adoption at scale has been unbelievable to watch.
I'll tell you my most used props.
Yeah.
This is a prop, and it's 2 words. It'll change your life.
Hot take.
Clarity. So I believe, and I have a degree in communication, meaning this is technically a professional opinion.
Is that Harvard?
This is a real one. This is Western Sydney.
This is a real one.
No, this is a real one.
Yeah.
So clarity. So if you're communicating with someone,
Yep.
it's important to be as clear as possible. In a professional field, you'll feel the same way. You don't have a lot of words before someone stops reading. They're only going to spend about a sentence or 2 in your email, and that's if you're lucky. So it's really important that you're clear, you're concise, you make sense, like everything's organized. So if I'm doing a really important email where I'm putting all the information, I'll put it in ChatGPT and I ask it, make it clear. Clarity is the thing I'm looking for. I don't care if I look smarter. I don't use bigger words, don't do things. You need to make my writing concise and easy to understand for anyone. Anyone who uses it to write fancier or smarter, you're using it the wrong way. The whole point of using ChatGPT is clarity.
That's great. Very good insight. I don't know if you watch this, but Vin Zhao, who's the communications expert, he says the same thing.
My boy.
Yeah, he says clarity, bro.
It's all about clarity.
Yeah, that's it. So, very, very, very interesting that you would say that. So that's good stuff, Nathan. You and Vin Zhao are pretty much the same
We're
person.
boys, yeah.
Mate, everyone says create valuable content. What the heck are they talking about?
I think valuable content. So, let me take it back. So I went to a presentation one night and there was this marketing genius and I was very excited to see this marketing genius. She went on stage and she said, guys, I figured it out. I figured out Facebook. It took me 15 years. She's a bit of an older woman. I've been doing this for a while. So I'm like, let's see what she says. Maybe I haven't figured it out. She says, guys, there's 2 types of content. There's educational and entertainment. And I'm like, yep. And then she stopped. And then a bunch of 50-year-olds started clapping. And I'm like, oh, no, they didn't know this. So I'll talk to anyone else who doesn't know this. 2 forms of valuable content.
Yes.
You can either do something that's educational or it's entertaining. There's literally nothing else. Right. So your content to be valuable, you need to teach someone something they didn't already know that is valuable information. Ours is accounting. It makes a lot of sense. We can talk numbers. We can talk a lot of different aspects. This podcast is an educational podcast more than it is entertaining for sure. And then there's entertaining, where that's more the mind-numbing. That is like, I enjoyed watching that. Someone did a backflip off a cliff. It's not educational, but that was cool. They're the only 2 things you should be focusing on, and a good business strategy should have both. You should not always be educational, and you should not always be entertaining. There needs to be a mix.
Great perspective. You know, the funniest thing is that Monique Lombardo said that to me when I first started working with her. I said I'd post so much educational. The only way I know is educational. I do entertaining because I'm forced to by you, but I really just want to educate. I don't know what it is in me that just wants to share insightful information. And so I was doing so much educational, and Monique said, dude, you need to start having some personality in your content and stop doing the educational piece. And I'm telling you, there are probably hundreds, if not thousands of business owners obviously listening to this podcast that are producing educational, and it's just nonstop bombardment of educational. Sometimes you need to relate with your audience. Sometimes you need to create that entertainment value where people are going to keep looking at your page and not just get into that monotonous technical stuff. And so variety is the spice of life. So I completely agree with your, you need both, obviously in your business. And if you're not doing that, speak to someone in marketing who can help you. Like
I'm
Nathan.
telling you.
Very good. Don't speak to Nathan Lobb, but speak to someone in marketing. What is one boring marketing channel that still works?
This is a big one, and people forget about it. Do you remember Bing.com?
Yeah.
It still exists, right? Google are the market leaders. They're probably getting like 80% of the traffic.
Yes.
But getting maybe 12 is Bing.
Yeah.
And Bing on HP computers is the default browser.
Right.
So if you get an old person that has never used a computer in their life and they search something on their computer or their phone, a lot of times it might use Bing. So that means that Bing is a place where not many people are putting their eyes, and even paid advertising is much cheaper on Bing than it is on Google, just because of the traffic reasons. So is it boring? Yes, because it's Bing, and Bing's very boring. Yeah. However, it still works because especially if you're looking for older people, if you're looking for an older crowd that's your target demographic, you should be on Bing. It's cheaper. It's a platform that maybe a lot of your competition aren't on. And if you're specifically looking at an older crowd, that's where you want to go.
So is Bing can you still run paid ads on Bing?
You can.
Really?
And they have Bing Places, which is the same as Google Business Profile or GMB. Right. So you can have a Google, I'm used to saying Google listing because it's just Google. Yeah. You can have a Bing listing. So it says, hey, this is Jacob's Apples, and it's all the information, contact him, and paid Jacob's Apples ads.
There you go.
But I guarantee that majority of your competition aren't on Bing.
There you go. That's a hot take for any business owners listening, especially if you have older people that use Bing. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, it's because when I first get a computer, maybe you're the same. You might download a Chrome or you might download whatever one you want to use, and that'll use Google. And you use Google. Yeah. If I go on Bing, I type into Bing Google so I can get off of Bing.
I don't know how I get on Bing.
Yeah,
I just end up there. Yeah.
I never willingly go to Bing because no one should. Yeah. But your default browser will normally take you to Bing.
There you go. So there's some traffic. And
it's traffic and it's old people that don't know.
I love it. Mate, thank you. What is one simple SEO task that someone can literally take this afternoon and affect change in their business?
So SEO is search engine optimization, which means that on any kind of search engine, you're optimizing yourself so the search engine will read you and put you at higher ranking. So that's what SEO means if you don't know what SEO means. So there are a lot of different things you can do. But if we're just talking what's a simple win, what's the low-hanging fruit, I think it's using the apps in place by those search engines. So Google, for example, which is the biggest search engine, but there's also YouTube, there's social media. It depends on how you look at it, right? But let's just talk Google. Google Business Profile, GMB. It used to be called a different name. Everyone calls it GMB. It allows you to create a listing. Now, many people underutilize what this listing can do. You might think, I put my phone number there, I put a photo of my logo and my address. Those are great, and yes, you should have those. But also, it has a question section, so you can get asked questions by people and answer them on there. And those keywords actually help you of what your business might be or common questions around your industry. You can upload your services. So if you do 1 to 2 things, don't put 1 to 2 services. Really break it down. Put your microservices. Put it in different kind of words and different adaptions of what it is, because you don't know what people search. So if you're just an accountant, you just put accountant. Well, what about tax accountant? What about small business accountant? What about big business accountant? All these different keywords. You can absolutely pump it, and there's pretty much I don't think there's a limit to service numbers. So you can put 1 million services. Who cares? It's just more traffic. You can post photos. You can post products. You can do daily posts that can link people to things. You can put events on there so it notifies people. So it's all these like free little things that you can do, and it's going to help you for your local search. So if someone's searching you in Parramatta and it's Parramatta Accounting, you should have a Parramatta Accounting page, and it should have all this information on it. And Google's going to look at the competition and go, wow, these guys have a bunch of information. Ideally, you're pushing reviews to this GMB. We're going to put you higher. And you don't need a tangible location to make these, because you don't need to put a location address. You can have an e-commerce business and still have a GMB. And you should.
Very insightful. And how, again, similar to the earlier question, how fast are people going to see results with SEO? Because there's a lot of different theories with SEO on how long it will actually take to generate results. If you've got a bunch of quick wins and whatnot, if you're looking at the data, how soon would you like to see some movement with SEO?
I think SEO people, there's a kind of a meme around it where it's 6 months to see results. But the meme is it's 6 months so you don't fire me for 6 months because it looks like I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
And I think that's true.
Yeah.
I think some people kind of say that, and there's those kind of agencies that just churn through clients, and that's the wrong way to approach it. It does take time. You might not see things straight away until you're more developed. The more developed you are, the faster you will see results. But I would confidently say within 3 to 6 months, if you're going from my business does not exist online to my business is now on the first page, depending on industry and a lot of different factors, I think 3 to 6 months is decent. Right. It's somewhat decent. You could be in a field where there's a lot of competition, it gets harder, but it's in the conversation for sure.
So if your agency is 6 months deep and there's no results, would you reconsider?
If it was 6 months deep and there was no results, if someone knows more about you than something, they're always going to be able to overtalk you. If you know nothing about SEO, it's a very hard conversation to sit down with someone and say, hey, what have you guys been doing? Because they can get technical and talk over you. And this is the same with everything. When I go to the mechanic, they could tell me whatever they want because I have no idea about cars.
Yeah.
And I have they don't put their pricing on the walls. So this man could say, oh, head gasket, oh, that's a 4,000 job. And I'll go, oh, damn it.
Yeah,
and that's the conversation done.
That damn $4,000 head gasket.
That damn 4,000. Yeah. But if you're in that conversation, what do? You bring someone who knows cars to talk to the mechanic.
Right.
So if you're in that conversation where they've done nothing and it's been 6 months, maybe have a conversation. Maybe bring another agency in to have a conversation. Maybe hire someone, do a bit of research, see if there's someone that can talk to them. But you're always going to be at a disadvantage if you're just the angry business owner who's saying, I'm not seeing results and I don't understand why. And you can't explain it to me because I still don't understand what you're saying. Yeah. You're speaking different languages.
I've got this theory that before you go and recruit a professional, you should at least try to understand the thing you're trying to recruit. Is it similar with marketing? Like I said, I love marketing, so I want to understand what the hell's happening. So at least when I sit down to have a conversation with someone in marketing, I can roughly get to where they're going with that. Do you think that's important, not only in marketing, but just generally?
Yeah, I think for marketing, especially if we're talking digital, SEO, technical, you should have some kind of understanding. You don't need to know how to do a task. You just need to know what a task is. If I tell you what backlinks are, you should be able to tell me yes, I know what backlinks are. If you're unable to have those kind of simple discussions, it's very hard for me to explain, hey, we want to do this or we want to spend money on this. As a business owner, you have no idea. Yeah. So yes, it is important. However, that's the difficulty when it comes to being a business owner is you should know a little bit about finance. You should know a little bit about marketing. You should know a little bit about HR. You unfortunately need to have your fingers in every pot, and that's very difficult.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think you should know about it. I think you should bring in the experts to execute once you do. But that's you start wearing all the hats and then you start delegating out the hats eventually, and then hopefully you can sail on a yacht somewhere. A founder is ready to make their first marketing hire. Should they hire a generalist, a specialist, or just a marketing agency, Nathan?
I'm going to say this is kind of a hot take because I could argue almost all of them. Yeah. But I think an agency generally is going to be your first shot. Well, let's talk budget because you're a founder. You're not going to be able to hire the greatest experienced person. It's probably going to be more of a junior level. Maybe they're a few years out of uni. Maybe they've had a role or two before. There's an argument to make that they might lead you down the wrong path. If you put too much trust in a junior and you have no expertise yourself, you might waste time on things. You might waste money on things. That's part of business. You're going to make mistakes and learn from them. But if you're working with a trusted agency, I think that's when you're working with a team of 5, 10, 20 people. All these people have been doing this for a long time and have already made all the mistakes. They can help you not make these mistakes. I think you should start with an agency. I think it's the most cost effective as well. You're not locking yourself into anything. Ideally, look for someone with great reviews. My biggest thing for agencies, I've worked with so many. I've worked with more agencies than anyone in Sydney, plus 10. No one knows agencies like I know agencies.
That's the best, yeah.
Here's what I do. I go on an agency's website and I go to the team section. That's the only bit of the site I care about. I don't care about services. I don't care about anything else. I want to see, will you put your team on the page? A lot of companies and a lot of agencies won't because they're offshoring, meaning they won't put their employees on the page because they're not Australian or they're not reputable or they're not even real people. Who knows? If you put your team and I see an effective team and I see that you are mostly Australian based, that's very attractive, and you put your names on there and you have LinkedIn profiles and you say what your favorite part is and you say your dog's name, you're showing me I'm not scared to show you who we are because I'm not going to steal your money. If you don't have a Teams page and it just says about us, we're hard workers, get to know us, who are you? You're going to steal my money. I don't trust you.
Yeah.
So go with the agency, inevitably hire someone in-house. Maybe it'll be a specialist or even a generalist just to help that communication and growth. And then in a perfect ideal world, either you have a full team inside or there's like a harmonious working with the agency and specialist.
No, I 100%. I think, and we've learned along the way, we've done a bunch of this stuff. But I wouldn't change that order because you're getting bang for buck with agency, like you said. But then you also need someone internal in your organization to at least work with the agency because you might focus on a different part of the business now that you've solved that marketing problem. And then your marketing team will probably need more resources as it grows as well. So I think that's the right sequencing, bro. And I think you nailed that. All right, let's go to the zero budget grind as a bit of a big one. For the business owner that has no money and no experience, how do they go and get leads?
I think it's very easy to do things when you have a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Like the conversation's not that hard. You just hire someone that knows how to do it.
Yeah.
The funner conversation is if you don't have money or if you don't have experience, either the two.
Limited resources.
Limited resources for sure. I think people are unaware of how many free things are out there, right? So I'm going to list some to you and you're going to be amazed.
Sure. My gosh, that's so amazing.
You can't believe it.
You go.
So if you open up a business, you can create free websites through Google. It's called Google Sites. It's not the most attractive thing, but it exists and you literally pay nothing for it. You pay nothing for the hosting, you pay nothing for anything.
So
right?
Google Sites.
Google Sites, completely free.
Right.
Then you have Google Analytics, Google Search Console, Google Business Profile, all these free things. It's going to help you track. It's going to help you promote. It's going to help you put your products out there. You haven't paid $1 yet, right? Well, now maybe let's create some social medias. Well, everyone knows all of them are free. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, whatever you want to use, right? So you create all those profiles. And now you want to create a logo. ChatGPT or image creation softwares are free. You can create it. Or you can get a free use of Canva, which is drag and drop. You can easily
Canva's
drag
the
and
best.
drop. If you don't know how to use it, YouTube, which is a free resource, can watch tutorials how to do it. So at this stage, you have a logo, maybe you have some social media posts, social media presence, Google Business Profile, you have a website. You can set up emails through that as well with Gmail. You can set up phone numbers. You haven't spent $1 and you've literally created a business.
That is insanity.
This is crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then you go, okay, well now you have all these platforms in place. How do I market this, right? Because I need to pay you to be on these platforms. Well, social media is free to post, obviously, and it's free to comment on other people's things and build connections. There are some groups throughout Sydney and throughout Australia for networking that you do have to pay to be a part of. Don't attend those, you have to pay. But there are free ones. You can go to chamber events. You can go have these discussions, right? And they normally have segments where you can network and walk the room. So you can say, hey guys, I'm X, Y, and Z, and this is what I've been doing. You can show them your digital business card, which is just a QR code on your phone that links you to your website. How easy is that? You haven't paid $1 yet. All of these things are free. Creating organic content and creating viral content, you don't pay $1 for it. Writing blogs on your website, this is how I do X, Y, and Z. That's going to get you SEO rankings. So all of this, you have not spent $1, and realistically, it's something that you could do with no experience.
I love that. And just so everyone knows, the way I look at paid or putting money down, you nailed it earlier. You either have time or you have money. Often when you start, you have a lot of time, not much money. And then as you get busier and busier, you might have no time, but then you start to build up some cash flow that you can invest into these things. And in marketing, I could be wrong, but I like to use the analogy that dollars or paid is like rocket fuel and just speeds up the process, right? So instead of, like, when I first started, bro, I started the Instagram page. I was doing my own reels, my own posts, whatever. I would literally every day, I heard Gary Vee talk about the 2-cent strategy, and I would literally every morning for about an hour, I'd go on and comment on people's posts and comment on DMs, shoot DMs over. I still have clients. Some of my biggest clients, I cold DM'd initially. I cold commented on their posts initially. I was just relentless in posting, and I was always using social media like it was supposed to be used socially, and just being and building networks and whatnot online. Then I'd go to the city every Tuesday, Wednesday. There was a Bashara taught me about this. It was the meetups. It's called Meetup. You know, the networking groups you talked about. It's called Meetup. You can go to free events. I'll tell you a funny story. I went to a meetup and met one of my clients who is an absolute legend. I worked with them for, they're still clients. So I've worked with them for 5 years now, 6 years now. They left me a comment on Reddit, or they started a post on Reddit, and the amount of traffic, you've heard this,
yes,
where we'll get people call up and just say, I've seen a post on Reddit.
Yeah.
And it specifically mentioned you, and like, let's have a meeting, and then we've had the meeting, whatever. I actually sent them a gift like a week ago, because they didn't need to do that. They didn't need to go on Reddit and write a post, and they did, and I had no idea about it. The way I found out was people just calling up and referencing that post. All of that came from a free networking event that I went to. I shook hands. I met them at the time. They couldn't get a hold of their accountant. They got in touch with me. 5 years later, we've helped them in their business journey, and now we're getting leads on autopilot because of a post that they've put out on Reddit.
Yeah.
That is the power of that. Took zero budget to do.
Yeah.
Using a lot of what you've just talked about.
That's so beautiful.
How cool is that?
That's
hey?
so cool.
Yeah. So that's full scope. It's a great story. I think we'll leave it. And it's a great insight into the practical real life things that free marketing can do. Before we go, have you got any other tips, tricks? What's cool? What's happening? I know this is what I know about you, Nathan. You're always in tune with what's out there. You're an early adopter of ChatGPT. If there's a cool little tool, you might be looking into it. What's out there at the moment? Like, if I'm in the marketing space, what's this like? What can I use? What hack can I use to help get the most out of my marketing at the moment?
We kind of laugh here that we want people to get sick of hearing about us.
Yeah.
So I think, and to take the conversation away around from like, is it cheap, is it fast, all these things, my biggest marketing tip is be in as many rooms as you can.
Yep.
If there are business industry awards, apply for the business industry awards. Go to the local business site, shake their hands, post on social media. Because like you said, you can't connect the dots moving forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. You look back at that experience and say, oh, because of that, I won how many clients and everything went great. You couldn't do that before you went to the event. You wouldn't say, when I go this, they'll post it on Reddit. You have no idea what's going to happen. So if you're duplicating your chances of success if you're in every single digital environment and physical environment you can within your means, and just keep doing it, and people are going to see your business and they're going to trust 100%.
You. I want us to wrap up, but you've just mentioned something that I have to ask you, Nathan. Everyone sees us win awards. Everyone sees us nominated for awards, and I know that's driven by you had an appetite when we first started doing it that, hey, if there's an award out there that recognises you in your industry, we need to be a part of it. What are your thoughts around the awards?
I think awards are important because they're trust signals. I think that if it's a good award platform, they're doing their due diligence to make sure that the company's proper and they're not dodgy and they're not scammers or anything like that. So just by being a finalist in awards, if I see that on your business or in the local cafe winning the local business awards, I love that. Because that's showing that you're a real business, you have pride in who you are, you've taken the time and effort to go to these events and do these things. That's nothing but trust signals to me. That's something that I want to give my business to you, opposed to the business that maybe isn't interested or is scared to enter because of what other reason. Even if it might seem like a waste of time. Even the like social aspect. They have award nights for a lot of them. You get to go and you have food and you can have drinks and hang out with everyone. Like, it's great networking opportunities. So there's no reason that pretty much every single business shouldn't be applying for relevant industry awards or local business awards or local group awards or, national awards. Because why not? Worst case scenario, you don't become a finalist. No one knows. It's not public who actually goes into the awards. If anyone asks you, say, oh, no, I never apply for that. But you actually apply every single day and you just never win.
100%. Great insight. So no like and trust. Awards help build that trust,
for sure.
That trust factor. Excellent. Nathan, I could talk to you for hours.
Yeah.
Because there's two topics I like. Number one, Nathan Lobb. Number two, marketing. So it's been an absolute treat. I hope you guys got value out of that. And I hope you got some insight. And if you want Nathan Lobb on future podcasts, drop a comment down below. Say, we want Nathan. I'm sure he's in the marketing team, so he'll point those out for me.
And if you want to poach me, LinkedIn, YouTube comments. Thank you.
All right. Have a great one. Thanks, guys.